Well, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
This is Ukimiyoshi here with her dads.
Hello. Hello.
Bringing you all the second matchup of top 16 for KH2Rando League. Today's going to be a good one, don't you think, Herdez?
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be a good match. We have Met and Roro playing today, as we could see from our bracket. Met being the top seed in the whole final top 16. So it should be very interesting. I know that Roro has been putting some practice in, so we should definitely see a good match coming up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if anything, yesterday's matchup for Nintendo and Dark showed that this top 16 is ready to be hype.
Exactly. So it's anybody's game.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good thing. So we've got Met's layout and stuff over here on the left and Roro's on the right. This should be interesting. I'm noticing OC is a big goose egg on this seed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they shotgun that early, just to see if they can find some quick movement abilities that's just kind of hidden there. Keyblades, something that's good. But Dead World from the beginning, so they already have one thing marked off. And then as a reminder, with these settings, levels, drive levels, or form levels, and 100 Acre Woods are all no proofs as well too.
Correct. And we've gone ahead and looks like the racers are getting ready to get underway here. We should see throughout the seed any checks that point toward a particular world will be cycling on the left on that side, and then we do have an information sheet that will kind of pop up here and there. As you can see right now, we've already marked it off. Just real quickly, that OC didn't have any proofs. That way we can keep the logic for both players kind of being tracked, so that we as an audience will kind of have an idea of where things are.
Exactly. So outside knowledge, collective knowledge, we can kind of pinpoint those proofs a little bit sooner than both racers can. So we'll see how they interpret their own seeds and their own hints as they progress. See if they kind of get on the same page as us as an audience is.
Yeah, and I mean that is a big thing to know. We as an audience will definitely have much more collective knowledge. So some of the plays may be interpreted differently, but players are going to play based on the information and knowledge they have. And they're underway.
Yes, so they're going to get started, do their normal menuing at the beginning, and see exactly where they're going to head off initially. I know a lot of racers in leagues, in this league setting so far, has been pushing Pride Lands from the beginning. Quick 26 checks from the beginning, potentially get some information and get some good levels from the Living Bones fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the fact that you do have the RNG manipulation at the beginning to kind of streamline that fight and make it much more simplistic for you. Met very quickly, darting right in, not wasting any time, is going ahead and starting with his Living Bones fight.
Yeah, I think he mostly put on his movement and then immediately went in, while Roro took a little bit of time to get his menuing, get his ethers on where he wants it, and
Form page on level 2.
Yep,
we've already got that. That's quick.
Exactly, page pretty early. So it looks like they both get the fight set up pretty easily. It's usually the one that when you don't destroy the head, that's the one that causes the main issue. Roro's just having a little bit of an issue with the second one, but looks like he got it.
Yeah, it looked like Donald and Goofy struggled a little bit to keep him in track. but we do see a reflect already. First room and aerial dive as well. So
yeah, two good ability, one good ability, one good magic. That reflect is going to be really big because once you have that reflect, you can kind of push a lot of content, especially low level. And we know that these two runners, especially Matt, likes to do low level.
Oh, that membership card! That membership card opens up so much.
Yeah, it opens up a ton of checks, especially with core skip happening. They don't have the movement just yet to do core skip, but it's definitely now on the table if they want to push up to that point.
Absolutely. And I want to go ahead and just comment real quick on the movement that they started with. Their opening 5 movement, 1 quick run, 1 aerial dodge, and 3 glide. That's
going to be they're going to be flying. They're going to be moving.
Yep, they're definitely going to be with that horizontal movement. The vertical movement, though, leaves a bit be desired. So,
yeah. The interesting thing here that I'm seeing is Met is actually strategically skipping some of the junk chests, the black chests that he's picked up right now. They're just filled with like synth items of like potions, ethers, drive recoveries, and some accessories. He skips some and he picks up a couple others, so it's pretty interesting to see what are going to be in those ones that he's skipping. I haven't really seen if Roro's been skipping them. I know he's skipping them as well too. I think he's skipping all of them actually.
Yeah, and I mean there is some pros and cons to that. Some cons are you do have to slow down for and stop for the animation, but the pros are you get things like maybe more elixirs, more ethers, potentially. You also get equipment, and I think that's the biggest thing. And when I mean equipment, I mean the accessories and armor. And certain accessories will definitely help you out in these seeds.
Exactly. I know a big thing for me when I was doing a couple of the races, the thing that I found very like I was low on, but I wish I had was more drive recoveries.
Yeah.
Then those are in the junk chests as well too. So it'd be interesting to see if they actually get some from pop-ups.
Yep. And we'd already see a divergent path. Met went into LOD and found a Proud Fang in the first 3, and now in Halloween Town, while you have Roro going immediately to Disney Castle, and he picked up another quick run. So,
and found a reflect, which kills off DC very early.
Yes.
And then Met just found Wisdom Form in Dr. Finkelstein's room. So we already got a form. I know that as we saw, well, we didn't see yesterday, but it was talked about and discussed with final form hard forcing it rather than finding it or using light and darkness. So, like they said yesterday, if we were watching the race, once they have the 2 forms, typically you start to see them hard force final to get that early progression points. So it'll be interesting to see if they do find another form early, if they start to hard force final very soon.
And Roro went into World It Never Was, checked the first 4 chests, finds Scimitar. So we are getting quite a bit of information here early. We do see that appears to be a magic there in Met screen, and it's Cure.
So they're getting a good set of tools, good abilities to start off with. They got a form, they got Reflera. Cure's not used so much, but at least you can use it for the hint. So, and a Torn Page, so if they want to check the first 6 of 100 Acre Woods for the quick checks there. Yes, it doesn't have a proof, but it could have items that point to a world that, has a proof.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other big thing that people underestimate with Cure is if you don't have some form of limit, so like, Duck Flare or anything like that, using Cure once you have Berserk Charge allows you to get into Berserk Charge if you're trying to strats. I
think that's one of the most useful things that Cure is used for, other than healing yourself in a pinch. But they use it just to queue up Berserk Charge pretty early.
And now we see Met having left Halloween Town. There was a Thunder in Santa's house, so that is 3 magic, or that is 3 items there. And Roro is very quickly going to find this Cure and Thunder coming up. But I do like the early movement. Oh, light
Oh, there's Light and Darkness.
huge.
Even though OC is dead, like I said, it may have good abilities, good tools, so you might as well check it. Plus, with Glide 3, you can make it through that section very quickly. You saw Met. I think he's been in here for 20 seconds, got the one item he needed, and he's gone.
Yeah, 25 seconds. That's huge. And he may very well force final with Light and Darkness before going to Hollow Bastion or Twilight Town, just to get some final levels on the way through.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did it either here on his way out, or if he did it at the Bazaar in Agrabah, because that's a very quick spot to do it as well too. So we'll see where Met decides to do it. He is right next to Twilight Town. Looks like he's going around counterclockwise, which is typically what everybody likes to do, is go counterclockwise around the GOA, hitting your shotguns. So he'll hit Hollow Bastion, so it would be nice to have final form before he hits that. So Roro went into Wisdom form. I think he had a little trouble with the Jack in the Boxes. So he's in limit form right now. Moving a little bit slow, but he's got it.
Yep. And Roro is also checking OC as well. We're going to come across that Light and Darkness very soon. So
Yeah.
both of these racers are definitely going to keep pushing hard.
Yeah, so no advantage of the final form, but like I said, Glide 3, this is a quick 20-second check. Just look for abilities. Don't look back from here, because there's no point in pushing it for anything else. All right, so Met getting through the little, I don't know what I don't think that's a mini game, but it's something. But he's not forcing final here. So
no, and I think there's a handful of spots where you can force final at that are perfectly fine.
Yeah,
if you want to force yourself to do some menuing.
looks like Roro's immediately, I saw him put Light and Darkness on, so he's immediately going to go Agrabah to go force it in the Bazaar. I think Met is probably thinking that he just wants to wait, see if he just comes across final form naturally, and then if he has to force final, he'll force it then, take the time to do so. Oh, and there's the last glide.
Yeah, and Met also very quickly pushing this mini game, so that's going to be something that Met's going to have going for him, because this is, while this is like a 45 second mini game, it is a guaranteed progression point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think it's underrated pushing Pooh, especially when you have a page, just because when that hint pops up, you're kind of afraid of, well, do I go check it now? Do I not go check it? It could be vital information, so it just depends on when that 100 Acre Wood hint pops up and where the important checks are there. So, ooh, there is a, what was that? A world unlock that Roro just found in the little shop, the treasure chest that's in the shop. So we'll see what that is in just a second.
yeah, absolutely. And Roro's now trying to just force final while he's looking through this and getting there. The quick
Let's see
in
how
and
many
out.
attempts that takes. Yeah,
That's
so
third.
That was his 3.
That's 4 attempts.
4 attempts.
Not bad.
Not bad. Looks like Met is right behind him, and it was Bone Fist, and it's dead. So does he push a Boo for the free progression point?
No. And I can understand this play. I personally would, but that's a personal preference of mine. I think if you think about the fact that you're going through 3 screen transitions plus the mini game itself, you're looking at about a minute or so, maybe a minute, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's a free point. It's just pushing a dead world is what it is. Not necessarily dead world. There still could be abilities there. So we'll see if Met actually does it. But Roro taking that final form, most likely just immediately going to push Station Fight and get that up. You can get to level 4 there, and he has a Thunder to make it pretty quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't do Station Fight here, or I wouldn't be surprised if he did Station Fight. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the tools that Roro has, he may push all the way up to tower, potentially play for tower defense. He might also just push up tower because he also has wisdom form that he can get some wisdom leveling up the up tower and finish the TT1 visit.
Finishing
great.
plus. Is that their first finishing plus that they got?
I believe it might be. Roro is actually leaving before station fight.
He might want to save it for getting level 5, so he might push Hollow Bastion, but Met is actually pushing a Boo because he's actually at 3 prog points because he did that minigame. So he's going to go get, looks like the first hint when he pushes a Boo here. Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't take too long. And there's movement.
That's another aerial dodge and auto final. Plus, we want to keep an eye on that Fatal Crest and see what potentially ends up on that.
Yeah, so we'll get our first hint from Met. Met will get it here after the Abu push. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's a one of the world. You kind of want to, in this case, you kind of want to see. We know that DC only has one thing, and we know Agrabah has one thing. So that's kind of the hint you want to pop up. But we get a Port Royal hint that it points to connection. So we'll see when they push that Port Royal for that information.
Yeah, absolutely. You also have Met now going into Disney Castle. I will say Disney Castle, unless it's dead, I usually love to push this at least to pass Pete. But we know that it dies with the Reflect, so most likely Met's just going to check this first room as well and leave like Roro did.
Yeah. Is he going to go check mini chest? No, probably not. He's probably not going to come back in to check mini. I don't think Roro did. I don't think he jumped back in to check mini chest.
Yeah, that's why I said Roro specifically just did first room. Oh, but Met is popping back in for mini chest.
You might get a good accessory. Got a drive gauge. Ooh, this gets interesting. So now Met has an extra drive gauge, has an extra aerial dodge, and an extra glide on Roro right now. So we know that Roro's probably not going to get that aerial dodge. Going to get the glide now. Also, but that extra push from aerial dodge.
Met did force final and is using it here in Hollow Bastion for the opening fight.
Yeah. Get a quick level here. I like doing the Hollow Bastion before I do station fight just because you get that quick level. And then when you go into final, you actually have that extra drive gauge to be able to do station fight and kind of get securely on level 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Roro is leaving without doing the minigame in 100 Acre. Is now pushing to Beast Castle. This is going to be our first introduction to Beast Castle, and very quickly, I expect Roro probably to pop in Wisdom form. Yep, and we'll be working to get those Wisdom levels.
Yeah, so we'll see what's on there. He got a drive gauge up, while Met on his side in the shotgun of Hollow Bastion has also got another drive up, has gotten Beast Claw and Pitcher. So we have a lot of world unlocks already, which kind of you might want to start to consider, which world do I start pushing? You kind of want information to start pushing a world so you don't push a world that doesn't have a proof. But as we've been seeing, you kind of high roll it, as they call it, go into a world without much information, get a lot of prog points, and kind of hope that the proof is there.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. Hollow Bastion's another one where even if you don't want to fully high roll, the fact that they both already have membership card, it's very easy for them to push just the handful of checks, at least the Anthem study, being that that's a very quick turnaround for like an extra dozen checks.
Got it. So Roro going through Beast Castle, finding Chicken Little and second chance and a fire. And he's going to do wardrobe push now. So putting on his abilities, getting set up to do Thresholder, and Met pushing Hollow Bastion 2.
And there is Combo Master is on. It looked like the Mysterious Abyss, but the stats were kind of suboptimal for Roro right now. So opting not to switch to it.
Yeah, I imagine when they get to higher stats, they might switch to it to have that Combo Master, because there's a lot of good strats that you could do with Combo Master. You just kind of don't want to sacrifice your stats if you're going to be below the floor to make those fights a little bit faster.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that. It looks like we get our first look at Thresholder here, and Met just cruising through corridors. Another torn page there in corridors, and now we're gonna get this push to Anthem Study while Roro is struggling a little bit with Thresholder here.
Yeah. He's got the reflect off. He's gonna get through the. I think it was the gargoyles that were really kind of causing the issue there.
Yeah, and they are kind of a pain. They are quite a bit of a pain. Yep.
Yeah.
Clean second transition into it, and one aerial
There we
combo. There we go.
And
Very
Fantasia.
quick. That's going to be huge because if you don't have Flare Force, it's the next best thing.
Exactly. So Met getting a reaction boost. We'll see if he leaves or if he decides to push it into core here. It looks like he's going. He does have some movement actually to get into core. To do core skip actually. Because I think, yeah, you have aerial dodge too. You have your glide, you have your quick run, and you have final form to get over it. So I kind of expect to see a core skip here. Get a lot of checks and see if there's anything there.
Oh, ice cream on final 3 is huge too.
And master on level 12 while he was doing that too. So he got 2 checks very quickly back to back. So that's full TT3 access. So you have a spot if you want to go all the way to TT3 to not only level your levels itself, but also final and master as well too. So we'll see if anybody decides to actually start pushing that really deep and high roller. Another torn page.
I mean, you're at 3. You're at Tanga's house at this point with those. So the question becomes: if you get the 4th, are you going to 100 Acre to push the mini games through Spooky Cave?
All right. So let's see. Peter Pan. And okay, Hollow Bastion's cooking right now. They've gotten a Torn Page in core, they got Peter Pan in core, and now they got a Blizzard. And it's still not done yet.
Yep.
While Roro is doing Beasts. Got an accessory slot.
All right.
Okay, Met. Okay.
Very clean.
Nice core skip. All right, so does Roro go back in to fight Darkthorn and Shadowstalker? I think he's preparing for it. He did get a money pouch. And no, decides to go to Hollow Bastion. I wonder if he goes back to Beast Castle when he sees this Beast Claw that's going to pop up. So, Met into core. So, Roro following Met into core. Let's see. Oh, following Met into core. Into Hollow Bastion. Met getting form boost there. Let's see if there's anything interesting in core itself. Now, the problem with core skip is you do get a lot of checks. You can pretty much and practically check every check that's in core except for the very last one. So, it's always a heartache when you see that.
Yeah, but now you've got Fire and Thunder right there, right before this next piece. And I mean, at this point, you've gotten five important checks just out of core.
Yeah.
So Met really flying with that information, and I don't know if I love or hate that though, because depending on what when we get the Hollow Bastion hit, this could tell us that there's almost nothing left, or there's a ton of hints if that comes up early.
Yeah.
So
in this case, you kind of want to see a no path hint rather than a all path hint for Hollow Bastion, because that will pretty much pinpoint your worlds that have a proof. But it looks like, I didn't see at a quick glance, but it looked like there was nothing in the final check.
No,
of core.
It wasn't. That was Met very quickly dropping down. So I think we're in good shape when it comes to not coming back here to core. But that was a lot of useful tools coming out of there. So let's see what we get from here.
So Met deciding, I have enough to push worlds. I have all my access to TT3. Let's go. So I anticipate he's going to go all the way through. You have the access to go all the way through. You're gonna get a lot of prog points. You're gonna get your levels. You're gonna level up final. You know, it's a good decision to do with this.
Oh, absolutely. And now you're also going to get the fact that Roro is going to be playing kind of a bit of catch up when it comes to the Hollow Bastion pieces. But once Roro has that, then does Roro go back and do the same thing and kind of trail Met's footsteps here in going to TT, pushing, potentially completing it compared to where he was earlier, where he just went up the station fight and then stopped right before that.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, actually, because that aerial dodge that we found in Agrabah that Met pushed going to Abu, Roro doesn't have. I think if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, it's been a while, but I think you need aerial dodge too to actually do the core skip pretty cleanly.
Yeah, and you are correct. Roro doesn't have that because of the decision to go to a move by Met, so this is going to play a bit into it. Now,
Yeah.
Roro also has Master Form here, so could potentially try to do some Master shenanigans.
Yeah.
So
it's doable. It's just it's not the ideal situation, but it
No.
is doable.
Correct.
So we'll see what his decision is, if he wants to push this or if he's just. I think he's gonna push this, but it's gonna be an. No. I'm wrong at every turn.
We do have a new hint from Met, and that is Twilight Town is on no pass.
So whatever he finds here is going to start ticking off worlds here that don't have the proof. So you have full access. You might as well full clear it and see what you get in this world that will point you into the right direction. So far, nothing up to the tower. And I'm going to choose to level up Wisdom as he's going up, which I know you can get 4. It's very tight and very close, so you can get 5. You just have to. I don't know if those first set of Heartless does anything, but it would help.
Well, that Thunder does a lot here because that's going to go ahead and kind of push away some of the worlds that we have here. Because that kind of kills off LOD and Pridelands as well. So we've now got quite a bit of information going from that.
Yeah. And that's not a bad thing to find here, because if the torn pages do get hinted, like if levels gets hinted now, you know that the torn page is practically only pointing to one world, which is Hollow Bastion. So you know for a fact that with the torn page there in Master, go clear Hollow Bastion, because that may have the proof. So we'll see what else is here as Met makes his way up the tower. And Rowan not having the hint yet, but he should get it either at the top of this if he gets some Wisdom 5, or he'll get it when he goes back to TT2, and he'll also get the same information that Met has.
Yeah, and I'm the biggest thing is Roro came into the tower climb here at Wisdom 3. Met was still Wisdom 1, so the Wisdom 5 is much more likely for Roro here.
Yeah. So he's pretty good in his leveling. I think he'll need to kill the Heartless on the stairs to get level 5 here.
Correct.
But I think he's like 1 or 2 kills away from it. But yeah, he should be able to get the hint when he finishes TT1. Oh, no. He's a little bit short.
Wow, that might be 1 or 2 experience at most.
Yeah. So, Met into TT2 already. With Reflera and Thundaga, you are going to breeze through these fights pretty quickly. And Met through TT2 with a new hint for us. And a blizzard that actually finishes off TT. So we know Twilight Town is now dead, which also with that blizzard also knocks off Hollow Bastion.
Yeah. So that's huge because at this point we only have, I believe, five or six worlds left for 3 proofs, which is kind of huge.
Exactly. Now, Met with that knowledge and all the pages, immediately going back to 100 Acre Woods to find out where does non-existence point to.
Yeah, because that hint is going to be a big piece of information. Roro is a full hint behind currently, so, or just a little bit over a full hint behind, so that's going to be huge.
And Roro is getting his Twilight Town hint. He's marking off his world on his tracker. He's also going to learn that Hollow Bastion's dead. So he has some knowledge. We'll see where he's going to decide to go. While Met gives us some Honey Slider.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, Herdez. What's your opinion on the fast Honey Slider versus the normal Honey Slider?
I'm either or. I like to mess around in Honey Slider. Like, I know that once you get to the snow area, you can kind of like AFK the controller. Like, you can let Pooh get let Pooh get hit because you'll actually end with 1 life. And sometimes I just like to use that as like a short break for my hands. I may grab Gopher just as a safety to make sure I don't accidentally fail it, but I'm okay with the fast Honey Slider.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of indifferent about it. I do know that there's some people that are like, I love the fast Honey Slider. We still get the mini game. Oh, Trinity Limit over here at Kenga's. That might be a useful tool to potentially push STT. And with 6 worlds left, STT might not be a terrible push right now.
Yeah, and we have Roro here went straight back to Beast Castle. And is doing Darkthorn and Shadowstalker here. So we'll see if there's anything left on. Gets his aerial dodge. So that now gives him access to do core skip pretty good.
Yeah, and he's going back into Beast Castle. I mean, he could potentially do the late charge, go all the way to Zaldin. And his stats are a little bit on the floor for it, but still, if you can clear this, potentially get a proof, it's so much, valuable information.
Exactly. And Met immediately going to BC saying, hey, I know I have 6 worlds marked off. I have a 50-50 chance in the 6 worlds that are remaining on finding a proof. So I think it's 50-50 if I remember right. If I'm doing my math quickly, right?
That's approximately correct, yeah.
Yeah, so start to time to push worlds. He's got the world unlocked, might as well just go through and finish it off.
Well, and the biggest thing for Roro, and I could understand this push even more, because you already know DC's dead. If you kill this world off, if Reflect gets hinted toward any proof, you immediately know Space Paranoids is one of your 3 proof worlds.
And speaking of Reflect only pointing to 1 world, Beast Castle's dead at Rumbling Rose with another cure.
That's huge.
So Beast Castle, another world that's marked off. So we're now down to 5 worlds, and Roro deciding, let's head over to Port Royal. Let's see what connection it's actually pointing to. So we'll see the push into Port Royal. I think we got all the magnet worlds remaining. We got Halloween Town, we got Port Royal, we got the world that never was. We got STT left, and we got SP left. And those are all very low count worlds compared to the other ones that have, like, you have LOD, Pride Lands, Agrabah, they're all in the double digits or close to double digits. That a lot of these hints now are going to be either you might just start to see them doubled up, or you might just see no path hints. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they approach these hints that are going to slowly start to roll in here.
Well, and I think the biggest thing you have left with all these worlds that are left, 5 or less checks that point directly to them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of hints, Met gave us our next hint, and it's a doozy. So we got Hollow Bastion on the path to non-existence and peace. And with a lot of stuff in Hollow Bastion, it's going to be hard to decipher what is pointing to what. You know, the torn pages really aren't pointing to anything because all the torn page worlds are done.
You know the Blizzard's not pointing to anything because Hollow Bastion is in the torn page worlds. So that's, you have your Thunder worlds are also dead. Your Fire worlds are dead. The only item there, public information, is Pan potentially pointing toward it, which that means this PR push might be really good for Roro.
Yeah. In Met's eyes, at his knowledge, he's still pushing BCE because it's still a viable option. We know as an audience that Beast Castle is dead at Rumbling Row. So this is a very good push for Row to start pushing not only Port Royal because it may have a potential proof, you're doing your required content, but also you're going to get information for that connection hint.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing we got to look at here is Met seems to have potentially missed the Chicken Little chest.
Oh, he did. Yeah, there was Chicken Little in, because Roro has 4 things there, and he has Chicken Little as the first check. So I wonder, where was Chicken Little? Do we remember? Was it outside in?
I would assume it was. I would assume it was outside because I know that the fire check was right before Thresholder.
Yeah.
So that's what I would assume.
Yeah, and Second Chance was in that same room with the wardrobe as well too. So Met actually might push all the way to Zaldin. So he might do some extra content. Yes, he's going to get prog points, but he might even do... Met's known for pushing data fights as well too. I wonder if he puts Data Zaldin on the board at some point. If he does Zaldin and BC doesn't get killed somehow, or doesn't get knocked off somehow by his hints.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But Sword of the Ancestor coming up in PR for Roro, so that's another thing to look at. I mean, we already know that LOD is dead based on the hit information, but if LOD points to a world later and you need to get the LOD too, it's a good thing to have that already.
Yeah, because we are still looking for... There's only collective knowledge for us. There's only 3 world unlocks left. One of them being Port Royal, the other one being Space Paranoids, and the last one, which we don't need, is Battlefields of War. Also finding a cure on the barrels fight. So we know cure really not going to help either. So finding 2 things that are really not helping, pointing to the correct world that he needs to go to. So we have Met making his way through Shadowstalker, and nice, clean, easy fight. So now he's at Aerial Dodge 3. So he's got some fast movement.
And we know that Genie for Roro is not pointing toward anything limited form. That's hinting more toward STT.
Yeah. So now, because he did also find Genie. Genie doesn't point. If Genie points to Agrabah, we know Agrabah is done. Mm-hmm. But that limit form potentially is going to come into play because that's going to be some knowledge of, hey, do I now start pushing STT? So we know Met has Trinity Limit. He can push it with Trinity Limit, and he has a fire that will make it pretty quickly. Roro has limit form. So he's got 4 forms. We know that if it is STT, we know Valor's going to get it. We know where Valor would be. So if dry forms are on the table, we know where Valor will end up being if it is STT. So Roro finishing Barbosa. while Met actually goes into screens. Looks like he's gonna decide to level up a bit here, get some stats.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good point. He's got 30 magic, so, you know, with Final Fire can burn through at least the first set, and Final Thundaga will push through these first set of robots really quickly, and then can just use Final Fire, Final Thundaga until Final Form wears out. Hopefully gets enough stats to make it to where, Thundaga will continue to one-shot coming out of it. So, and it looks like that's exactly the case. So this should be some good
XP.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the minute he got out of Port Royal, he had that limit form. Roro went straight to STT. And I think that's a pretty wise choice. You're down to 5. Collectively, we know we're down to 5 worlds. But in his case, he's down a lot of worlds. You have limit form. You don't really got anywhere else to go. Let's go do STT and just know if it has a proof or not.
I also have to wonder if Roro is doing this because he's either banking on Met not doing this, or if he suspects that maybe Met made the early play for STT if he got any tools elsewhere. So that's the other thing, because I know Roro tends to hold off on STT quite a bit.
Yeah. Met's about to get our next hint with his level 30 that he's about to get. He's going to get a prog point for it, so we should know what our next hint is. And
LOD is no lights, so
no path. So we'll see. I don't think, depending on what's there, which I don't think in this case you're going to go to LOD because you kind of have almost all your knowledge of where you need to go. The only reason why you would go is if you have a world unlock, say like SP is not the choice, but you have something behind SP2. And as you know, Identity Disc is in LOD. That's kind of one of the only reasons why you would go to LOD. But in this case, I think they're just going to leave it on that table. That hint really doesn't do much for them other than confirm that Pride Lands is dead.
Yeah, it looks like Met is getting ready for hostile program here.
Yes, he's going to do hostile program. He did find an aerial dodge in that room, so he actually has full aerial dodge and full glide. So he's going to be schmoving through the air. So
Roro getting a dodge roll there, and making very quick time so far through STT.
That's actually their first dodge roll. I didn't even see it, but that is their first dodge roll of the whole seed.
Yep. That's kind of why I wanted to point it out, because to me that was pretty important. While it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, some players will be using dodge rolls for positioning in boss fights. So it's kind of important to know that you at least have one. So that's a good thing for Roro going forward.
So Met left Beast Castle 2, and then he went to SP. Looks like he went for leveling so he can fight Zaldin. In anticipation of Zaldin. We know, once again, it ends on Rumbling Rose, but with Met kind of missing the check, he's going to probably push all the way to Zaldin and then have in the back of his mind, hey, it's Data Zaldin. There's something there that it may be a world unlock like Skill and Crossbones. So we'll see if he decides at some point, if Beast Castle doesn't get killed off, which it should, if he decides to do Data Zaldin.
Yeah, and then you have Roro on the other hand, clean Twilight Thorn, and now going into Struggle Fight.
Yes, so
question is he gonna stay for Struggle? I'm pretty sure he will.
I'm pretty sure he will.
Ditch beforehand. Yes, he is gonna go do Struggles. So let's see how this goes from here.
Did they pick up any draws? I don't remember seeing any draws.
I think maybe one at best, but that should be all you need with the Struggle Bat.
Yeah, because Struggle Bat does have one to draw. So, oh yeah, they have a good enough draws. So, Met pushing into preparing for Zaldin, and Roro heading deeper into STT. So, as the graphic shows, yes, we know potentially that there is a proof potentially here in STT, based upon what PR told us with limit form. And we know PR potentially has a proof based upon what was in Hollow Bastion and its hint.
We also have another piece of information. Space Paranoids points to all three.
That is a very spicy hint.
But we know that everything that it points to is in second visit because Met has finished through the entirety of the first visit.
Yeah, so whatever's in SP is gonna be pretty good information. But the problem is, yeah, we need identity discs to get that information. So Met just finishing Zaldin. Now realizes, hey, the proof's not here, but Data Zaldin, quote unquote, may have something. So we'll see if he eventually does it. So Roro, unfortunately, his stream decided to buffer on us a bit. So we'll see about getting back to him where he ends up if he finds anything on Struggle Fights or in Sunset Terrace.
Yeah. And
meanwhile,
Met very quickly going into Prison Keeper. So we're back with Roro. It looks like just in time to go toward Sunset. Looks like we're gonna just get a quick. So,
yep, he's heading to Sunset Terrace. Nothing on Struggle Fights, it looks like. So he's gonna see what's here. It may actually not have anything. We've kind of seen where proof worlds, especially SCT and Space Paranoids, I know personally for me, they end up having nothing but just a proof, which is always frustrating, especially when you have like a hint there or you get a hint later on that says no path and all you find is a proof.
Yeah, but I will say, I think the biggest thing for Met having that information of all three paths are like getting into SP2 is going to be huge. And just because that's going to give you probably your definitive info on what three worlds, maybe not which proof, but honestly, do you care which proof is in which world? You kind of just want to get to those proofs quickly here.
Yeah, Met did give us our 7th hint, which is also a non-existence piece hint on levels. So this actually brings up a pretty interesting point here, because we have these low count worlds and these hints, and we already found some things such as like reflex already in positions. We haven't found any magnets. So in this case, they can start looking at their hints and seeing what they found and start actually eliminating worlds based upon that information as well too.
Yeah. We do also have to note Halloween Town is no longer pointing toward anything because of the Agrabah, or because of Agrabah having, and I believe that's a low count for what's remaining.
Well, so yes, because Halloween Town, yes, has 4 hints that point to it. It can't have any of them because the Bone Fist is in Agrabah and no magnets found just yet. We still don't know enough about. Well, it still could have. Yeah, it still could have peace. Is what it can have.
Yeah, it just cannot have non-existence at this point.
Correct, and it can't have connection because connection is in Port Royal, and if it is pointing to, magnet, if it was pointing to what you call it, Halloween Town, I forgot my words, then that's where it would go. SP is still iffy because it has 4 hints, but looking at this, I don't think SP can't have non-existence and peace either, right? Because there's 2 reflects in Pride Lands. There's a reflect in Pride Lands and reflect in DC.
You are correct on that, actually. So, Roro is doing Axel 2 right now, so let's keep an eye on this. This might be our biggest piece of information that kind of unlocks the way the seed plays out from here.
Yeah. So we should see if limit form is pointing here and PR is pointing here, we should see connection here. and Axel being a bit of a troll.
Yes.
Okay. Getting the RC. And then
the
we go.
The RC kill, yep. So
Yeah.
let's keep an eye on this. We can see in the bottom corner, Met has jumped into Halloween Town 2. So, and it was all the way to Presence already. So we're gonna see Experiment very shortly there.
And
Roro
it's
getting connection. Yes, that's huge.
So then the only thing in STT as well too. So we know that whatever's in Port Royal is also, if there's anything else that's left there, is also gonna eliminate other worlds. So we know STT is connection. So when the next connection hint is, which is actually we already know SP, we know Valor Form is there as well too. So we know Valor Form is in is in Space Paranoids 2 somewhere.
Yes.
So that mostly just leaves us what? The Magnet Worlds and Space Paranoids.
Correct. And even then, we're very limited on what's available left for those worlds.
Yeah. So we'll see if it's in if one of the proofs, if Peace is in Halloween Town, when Met finishes this.
Now, I don't know about you, Herdez, but I feel like it might almost be a good play to push World That Never Was at this point.
I would think so.
Well, from our knowledge, it's you have 4 worlds left for 2 proofs, and World That Never Was is one of them. Plus, it's a lot of progression points. So that might be a worthwhile reason to push it. But I will also say, very nice, clean fighting there from Met.
There is Peace.
Yeah, so we now know that the only thing left is non-existence.
And Met actually gave us some good information with a new hint. So if you take
Disney
a look at his
Disney Castle's on no lights, which means Space Paranoids is dead. So it is now.
It is now. We would know because depending on the amount of non-existent hints.
Yeah, the amount of non-existent hints guarantees that it's more than 3. So cannot be World That Never Was. So the last one is going to be in PR. So this is a hunt now for Skill and Crossbones. Like, that's going to be a big thing that it needs to be found here.
Exactly. So you have 4 hints for non-existence. So you know at least you're missing 1 non-existence hint somewhere unless it's doubled up. So we know that non-existence, there's Halloween Town, not Halloween Town, 100 Acre Woods has non-existence. That could be a magnet or Skill and Crossbones. We know more leveling might have to happen. We know that they may need to find Identity Disc as well too.
Okay. Ooh, 100 Acre Wood only hints non-existence, so that has to be an unlock, does it not, Herdez?
Yes, because actually with the Peace hint with Peace being on Halloween Town, that means both non-existence and Peace have to always be paired up. So we know our magnets are on levels. There's one in Hollow Bastion and there's one in Space Paranoids. So we know, yeah, we're on a page hunt. We're on an unhinted page hunt for where where exactly Skill and Crossbones is going to be in 100 Acre Woods. I don't know about you, Yuki, but I think everybody is probably going to hope for a Yeet the Bear.
I mean, I think a lot of people are going to hope for that. I personally would be fine with or without a Yeet, but a Yeet is a crowd favorite. So, and plus it's more content, so that's another big thing.
Exactly. So, we'll see where these pages lie, because like I said, with Hollow Bastion being dead and most page worlds being dead as well too, and page worlds point, to a lot of different worlds, you're not going to know where pages are. You're just going to have to, unfortunately, push content to find these pages. And they can be just about anywhere.
Yep.
They can.
we also have Met finally going into STT. So Met's gonna be in STT prison for a little bit, but is going to get rewarded for that with the proof at the end of the main route. So that's be a big thing. But that means Roro now is going to spend all this time either backtracking through other fights that Met has done and other content Met's done, or is going to start pushing forward, finding those last unlocks, which Roro and Met should have pretty complete information of this shortly. Especially the fact that Roro has the connections, and I think with another hint and finishing Halloween Town would have the rest of the information that we as an audience kind of has when it comes to proof.
He should get his hint that knocks off SP here very shortly when he finishes Oogie, and then when he finishes Halloween Town and gets peace there, he should also have the same knowledge that Met has, that they're on a page hunt, and there was a page in core. So, but it was very early on. I don't think it wasn't. He didn't have to do core skip. I think it was the first check in core. So he could have a third page here. After he does all his required content.
Of course, but now I'm also a little concerned for Met, because having missed that Chicken Little check earlier may come back to bite him a little bit, because he may think that Data Zolden has a page and may very well go for it.
So it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches that conundrum that he's now in. So, Met going to Twilight Thorn. He doesn't have limit form, right? Because he didn't do PR yet. He does not.
No, but he has Trinity limit, so I mean, Twilight Thorn's going to be a little bit slower potentially. Actually, gets off enough thunders. I think he'll still single cycle here. So I don't believe this is really much of a time loss here on this particular fight. But Trinity limit tends to be faster for most of the rest of STT, especially
struggle fights. Struggle fights is a breeze when you have Trinity limit. I think it takes 5 seconds, 3 to 5.
It's 3 to 5. Typically 3.5 is pretty standard.
So Met doing it only on one cycle, not having to take a second one, so that's good. And then Roro making it through Oogie and getting the hint about the reflex in Disney Castle, so he knows that he's pushing the right content now. So he goes directly back into Halloween Town to go finish this up. He should get his piece, and then hopefully we see him start to push page worlds, but starts to put worlds just for pages. See, Met's now going through struggle fights, and Roro doing a little dancing there with Dance Call. Dance Call is underrated.
And Roro was trying to go for the reflect strat into Dance Call to instantly knock out Shot Clock and Barrel, but just a little bit late on it. So still picks us up pretty quickly though, because Dance Call is just really strong in general.
It does a lot of hits, and it's very powerful with your magic stat. I'm pretty sure it scales off your magic stat if I remember correctly.
Correct.
But it does a lot of hits and a lot of damage. So Met going through the final fight here with Setzer for struggles, while Roro decides to collect some presents here. So the question would be is
Jack hitting some
with the
magic.
blizzard.
Yeah, and making it to where Dance Call didn't pull all 4 in immediately. Slows down that town fight just a little bit.
Yeah, it makes it a little unfortunate when that happens. Um, but it's a good recovery that he did. He was able
Yeah.
to still get the presents before the unfortunate. I guess I don't know what they're called. I still call them the floating jack in the boxes, but those are just a pain to fight. Like they are the worst. So Roro heading into Halloween Town, and I wonder where he goes after this. Like he has a lot of information to start pushing worlds. I'm pretty sure that he pushed PR, so he's probably going to figure out that hey, it's either the World That Never Was or PR. He might push the World That Never Was, which is not bad because pages could end up being there.
Well,
we do know that there is one page that he's could go get very easily, which is right in front of Core.
Well, and that's the other thing. Roro might also think about the fact that there's check density here. I could very easily see him pushing Hollow Bastion pretty deep to try to get it, like going into Core and then pushing like a fair majority of Hollow Bastion. So far, this experiment fight extremely clean for Roro so far.
Yeah, that was a pretty good reaction there because typically you kind of want to position yourself in a certain way when you're doing this fight to when you do the reaction for the head, it actually goes to the lasers, and he got it actually pretty far away, so that was actually pretty useful and helpful for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now Roro is also going to potentially pop directly into a form here and finish this off, or is he just going to try to get a couple combos? Oh, yes. Goes into limit form, finishes off this fight beautifully, and will be rewarded with his second proof. Another thing to note, Fire was on limit 5.
So that is Fire now that he has. So we know where all the fires are at as well too. And immediately goes to 100 Acre Wood. So I think he's pieced it together that, hey, it's Port Royal. I have to now do 100 Acre Woods because the World Unlock is here.
Correct.
So we are now on a unhinted page hunt, which can practically be anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere that's not blue already.
Yeah, and I feel like right now Met is very slightly ahead just because he has the extra page. By the time Roro finishes these 2 mini games, Met will have the proof most likely out of STT. So
it'll be very close.
They will be very close. It's just now we're gonna have that blind page hunt, as you said, and I think this seed comes kind of down to that. Because I believe Met didn't push all the way to Barbosa though, so that's gonna be a bit of a time that Roro has.
Yeah, Roro has Barbosa set, so he has PR2 set, but Met has the extra mini game done, and because the extra page for 100 Acre Wood, so it kind of balances each other out. I would say that the 100 Acre mini game is just a little bit shorter, so Roro might be just slightly ahead on that aspect. But we see Met immediately go to PR to go get this done as well too. So
yeah, and
Roro
Met
will be on the page hunt first.
Well, yeah, and because Met probably goes in here at this point thinking, well, Page might be here because we already know that connection's not points to STT, and we know that pages are not pointing to anything. So this would be a another good reason to come check this, other than having that knowledge already of needing to get this push. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 for Met, at least
exactly
based on the information he has at the time. So is working on master form too. So.
Well, you're gonna be here for at least a guaranteed minute, so you got to find something to do. But not only that, you might as well level up what you can. And it looks as though they have a drive converter, so it's a good spot at least to level up master a bit here because you're kind of doing nothing else really. And Roro finishing his mini games and immediately going back to Hollow Bastion, so he's gonna be doing this fight here and finding the 3rd torn page that was in the entrance of Core.
Now, if you're Roro, do you continue pushing after that?
I think so. You have a lot of checks here. I would, well, actually, with no magnets, pushing through Final Fantasy fights, kind of, you could argue that it would be pretty quick because you do have limit form. But I know I personally like to have magnets to make those, those fights go really quick. And in this case, you're probably not going to come across an easy magnet here.
No, absolutely not. I think if anything, you at least do the dancer fight, go get the couple extra checks afterwards, which I do not believe Met did.
Speaking of magnet, do you see what Met just got on level 32?
Yes, I see that. That's kind of huge.
So Met does have magnet now, which actually will help out pushing that Final Fantasy fights if he wishes to do so.
Wait, Roro just immediately dropping out.
He's saying, I don't want to go to core. I'm just going to bank that nothing's there. Let's just head out. But I think he found the torn page and he doesn't want to push extra content if he doesn't have to.
Yeah, I think that's his strategy here. And he's like, if I've got to go back into core, so be it. So there's the Trinity limit.
Yeah. He thought about moving on to dancers and he's like, wait, I got a torn page. Let me go do this mini game. See if it's like Kanga's house.
He knows it's not, but he's just going to go ahead and knock this out very quickly and then continue moving. And he got the quick cycle on. Well, he had the quick cycle going on the balloons. Looked like maybe dropped the last input, but still 13 seconds in there, pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep, comes back immediately going back into core. So he did not want to do core skip and waste the time in there in case he figures, okay, this will be a few second loss plus using the orbs to get some master levels too. So.
All right, so now they're kind of a little bit even. They both have all the same mini game, all the same content mostly done. That we're now going to see, is there going to be a divergence? We see Roro actually doing the fights.
Yeah, I could see this progression out of this, as well as leveling right now, because Roro is still only level 28, so has the stats to kind of get through this. It's a bit of a struggle, but definitely can clear this content. And Roro is known for trying to get progression points when he can.
Well, in this case, progression, the points really, they don't point into anywhere else anymore.
No, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But Roro may also be like wanting to see what worlds are pointing to dead like absolute dead, because then that means, hey, maybe a higher likelihood that I'm going here.
Yeah. In my position at this point, if you're just on a blind hunt for stuff, and this is just me, I like to do this as well too. I like to do the fights simply because I don't want to be screwed over by final chest of core. You have the movement to do final chest of core. You might as well you're going to do a little extra time to do the fights, but you're going to get levels, but you're not going to risk and chance that final chest, I have to go back, do the fights, and come back up.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing to note, Roro hasn't done screens, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he did. He did. That's right. He did go back and push hostile. Guess that was occurring earlier. I think when Met was going through. Was that
Halloween Town?
Yeah, I would say early part of Halloween Town.
He was going through Halloween Town, because that, or he was doing it as Met was heading to SCT.
Okay, so then I missed that. That was on me, but
yeah. Met doing Zigbar, not finding really anything after Roxas other than it looks like a blizzard, and getting prepared to do Zigbar. We'll see how that Zigbar fight goes. We know that he can be trolly sometimes.
Well, he does have horizontal slash. So that's going to be an important tool because that makes it a little bit easier to pick up kills. I don't know if they have Berserk Charge on anything, because Berserk Hori would definitely be on the cards here. Does not appear to be the case.
Yeah. But using Comet to get the quick damage in, looks like he's gonna go into final form to do some, to do the loop that you can with fires and a magnet if he has the magnet queued up. Yeah, just gonna final glide, do a little bit of damage, do fires, final glide, and just melt through the health bar. He's almost done already.
Yeah.
And then Comet just for the final.
Just to be
missed the
safe.
finisher. There we go.
There we go.
So we have Roro heading through the last of core, getting his final checks, and Met heading to Luxord. And nothing in the ability chests here. All right. Let's see. Roro's probably going to take a peek and see. Oh,
Yeah, he took a peek as he came in and then saw that it wasn't
okay.
anything.
I was going to say, that's a fast peek. They both did fast peeks that I didn't even see.
Yeah.
They're going to have bad eyes.
So just immediate snap of the camera, and then just instantly back to where he was going. So
Gonna level up some master on his way out with this drive orbs. And then we'll see if he actually pushes further into Hollow Bastion.
And
Looks
he
like
does.
He does. All right, so we have some divergence here. We have Met doing tower, or castle, sorry. And we have Roro doing Hollow Bastion. Could you peer into that room to see? Oh, you can peer into that room to see what the chests are. I didn't realize that. The little side nook right there where you have to go back to go look at the two chests. I think you can peer in. Can you peer into that? Or no?
I don't know. That's a good
Because it looked like a junk chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought I saw black chests for junk, so I was wondering why he was going back, but it looks like, yeah, without, like I was saying earlier, without the magnet, doesn't want to push, Final Fantasy fights or even Thousand Heartless without the magnet.
And now Roro is going to visit the family as Met picks up the clean DM skip on Luxord, and there's nothing on Luxord there, so it's going to keep pushing.
All right. Are we going to get Mission 3? Mission 3, gang?
We are getting Mission 3.
We'll see if there is something on Mission 3. We know that sometimes it likes to just have something right then and there, and you could have had it very early in the seed, so we'll see. Nothing on the initial fight. And Met actually leveled up Master, deciding to forego pushing on into the fight and saying, let me level up Master, let me get my form levels, and maybe it's just on the levels itself.
Yeah, I mean, Roro's a little bit further ahead on levels for forms, but so we have a little bit more information on the fact that it's not quite as likely, but it could very well still be there.
Mm-hmm. So nothing on Master 5. Gonna go all the way to 6 just to be sure. And then it didn't look as though that there was anything on Mission 3 on Roro's side.
At this point, we're kind of looking for form page or bust, in my opinion.
Yeah. And nothing on Master 6. So we know Master 6 doesn't have anything. We know from Roro's side, Wisdom 6 doesn't have anything. We know Limit 5 had the fire.
Yeah, and then we know that up to Final 5 doesn't have anything either.
We just have Limit 6 and Final 6 left for checks. Until we possibly need Valor. But in that case, you need the identity disc to get Valor. So they're hoping that the page is somewhere accessible. So going through Psyx right now, doing a little reflect, thunder reflect, getting some decent damage in. And then pop into the limit form.
And goes for the Ragnarok kill. Beautiful.
And clean fight. And then we have Roro making his way up Mountain Trail. So Met's going to have a good, going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 chests after this. 5th check being right here on, I forget what to call this check. The Riku check? I call it the Riku check.
I think that's a good way to mention it. But look at this. Met on his way up, prior to Xemnas is going to be trying to get this master level. Should easily get it on the way up, though.
Final level.
Or final level, you're correct. I am...
Colors are hard.
Colors are hard.
Ooh.
Oh, there's the torn page.
There's the torn page. So is it in Spooky Cave, or do we need all 5 torn pages? So Met immediately turning around and heading to 100 Acre Woods.
Here's the thing, that's not the final check of the world, though.
No, it's not. I don't know if the good luck chest had anything. I didn't quite see it, but
I didn't either.
So he's gonna head into Spooky Cave. Now, does he take the family, the kids, or does he just immediately go check the chest? And he immediately goes check the chest.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
And there it is. Yep. The only thing. So he gets his skill in Crossbones, and he immediately heads out. Gonna go. I think he's got to reset the flag. Oh no, he doesn't. Okay, so he's good. He's heading to GR2. Roro needs to find. Okay. Roro needs to find his torn page here very soon. I wonder where the last torn page is at.
That's a very good question, Herdaz. I think the big thing here, Roro is kind of stuck in the minute fight right now. Just trying to find this
elusive torn page.
Yeah. Now, the question becomes, what's his next plan from here?
I think with him having sort of the ancestor, he's pushing all the way through if it doesn't finish in LOD1. I think he's pushing to Throne Room to get the checks. So we have Met cleanly getting through GR1. Gonna head to the Gambler fight, and then gonna collect some nice shiny coins. And just immediately skipping all the chests. You have everything that you need. You don't need to pick up anything else. Just, you need the proof, and that's about it.
I would say that the stats are pretty dead on for it. It's 40-41 for Met here, so I mean, maybe you want like one more level or like 1 or 2 more stats, but you might have those stats even in boosts sitting in your inventory.
Yeah, and I think with the tools that they've gotten over the seed, they pretty much set for the final fights. So, Met collecting some coins here while Roro still pushing LOD, looking for that torn page. And Met collecting his last shiny coin. I always have trouble with the coins. They never seem to pick up for me, and I have to kind of walk over them like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, you and me both. Roro going into Shan Yu here. Starts in final form, so this should be a quick Shan Yu.
Mm-hmm. And Met getting GR2 started here. Using Reflect to get the damage off on the Grim Reaper so he can get some of his MP back without having to waste an ether early on.
Oh, that quick Sean you killed, getting him in the corner, getting the reflex and final or in the final fire while getting there, but Met just cleanly working through GR2 right now.
And yep, getting through the second phase here. Going to Master early just to make sure Donald doesn't die.
Well, it has more than enough gauge to pull this off by going in right then and there, so it makes sense.
Yeah, with knowledge you having to do GR2, leveling up Master was a good choice, because then you want to be in Master for this easy strat that you just toss thunders, spin around the treasure chest, and you get all the coins.
Yeah, and Met very quickly also locking GR just down completely there. Clean.
Nice fight.
Yeah, that was probably the cleanest GR2 I've seen in a while. So, very well done, executed. There's the last proof, and Met's off to final fight to finish this seed out.
And yeah, he just put on the dodge roll and just says, I have enough ethers, let's just head to the end. So into final fights for Matt. This glide 4 and its aero dodge 4 is so quick. All right. So Roro getting through the fight outside of the palace. Gonna head into the throne room area, and we're gonna see what's in throne room.
Question is, I was gonna say, is he going to try the skip for this room or not? And I believe the answer is no, because it's not really worth the time. Because if you have to fight Storm Rider, you still have to do this fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just knock this out quickly, especially how quick it is.
Yeah, nice guard break on final 6. I know they have explosion, but nice guard break. Oh, and Stitch in throne room. At least they have Stitch now. So pushing all the way to throne room. Got an early Proud Fang early on, and then nothing else until throne room. So Roro heading back to Hollow Bastion, deciding now is the time to go push Final Fantasy fights and go push Thousand Heartless, even without the magnet. And then Met using Thunder to get rid of these, I don't even know what these call, these exploding nobodies pretty quickly. And heading to Engine Core fight.
Yeah, heading to Engine Core fight and just obliterating everything from the sky there. That was a matter of seconds. Just that was that magic lock on Thunder or Thundaga's just hitting everything.
I don't know. Do they have magic lock on? I thought he actually locked on himself and then just was tossing thunders.
Thundaga,
it's an area of effect.
I mean, that's fair, but like that was so quick.
Mm-hmm. That engine core, energy core went by very quickly.
Yeah, now let's see. Armor 1. Probably going to be a touch slower, just because not having the limit, or not limit, excuse me, the final form here.
Yeah.
Now it has the ability to go into it, but at this point it's like just finished the kill.
Yeah.
So that works out nicely.
And Roro using Wisdom Fire to get through these fights pretty quickly. Has plenty of ethers to be able to do this, so the first couple fights are very quick. It's the last fight that you kind of want that magnet for, just because there's enemies just like in the air, on the floor, they're all over. So, but with Thundaga, it should be pretty quick for that fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now I will say this: Met is
the turtles.
Met's in really good shape to finish out the seed here in the next couple minutes, but Roro made this a very interesting seed.
Oh, he does have the magic lock on. Sorry, I saw him warp to Armor Chair 2.
We got another Armor Chair 2 warping. We saw that last night from Nintendo during his race with Dark, so that was definitely
It's a sight
that's why
to see.
that's why I said I swore that was Magic Lock On with the way that it was happening in Engine 4, but
yeah,
that confirmed it.
Met not getting the first building actually did a reflect and was a little bit. I think it was too high for that building, so that's why I did the attack. And then he does another warp. So the Turtle Man is down. Oh! I spoke too soon.
He was trying to get the extra ether off there, and it looked like as the ether resolved and was going for the reflect, Armor 2 got off the cleave.
Yeah, I spoke just a little too soon. So, well, we get to hear more turtles, and we get to see more warping.
Also, Roro now pushing World That Never Was, so... because, fun fact, Hollow Bastion died after Final Fantasy fights with another magnet and once more. So Roro's sitting on full scum at this point.
Yeah, and makes it cleanly through Roxas.
Now I will say Roro was working a different loop than usual. Was working a reflect explosion thunder loop there to keep Roxas looped. Until the point that he knew he could pop into final form limit form and finish off that fight.
Met playing it a little bit safer this time around and just waiting for the cleave. All right, so we have Met heading into final Xemnas. Has Reflera, so we'll see how much damage actually gets done because he's right at the ceiling for the damage, if I remember my damage ceilings and floors correctly from the chart.
Either at the ceiling or barely below the ceiling. So
yeah, I know it's either 41 or 42.
Yeah, that's what I know. That's why
did a little bit too much damage for the limit form swag. So I was gonna take it like as a normal approach, reflect these lasers, toss a thunder to make sure about the damage, and then do a reflect into Trinity limit.
That was
and
clean.
GG's Met.
GG's Met with a time of 1:16:37.
All right, and it looks as though that Roro is deciding to not continue and is DNFing, but Roro did play really, really well.
Yeah, no, like we said, this purely came down to that blind tour page hunt. Met made the decision to go to the World That Never Was, climbed the entirety of the castle, got rewarded with the 4th torn page, and Roro made some other decisions where it could have potentially paid off, unfortunately did not. So Met will be taking this game and moving on in the winner's side. But Roro isn't out yet. This is double elimination here, so we'll be moving down into loser's bracket. It's definitely going to be a very interesting loser's bracket going forward. But I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed as Roro at all. This was a very good showing from Roro. Again, this is just where the decisions on something that's unhintable, the path divergence is what made the difference.
Exactly.
But up until that point, he and Met were literally blow for blow. And this should be a race that Roro should not be upset with.
Exactly. So they both played it really well. Like you said, Met stays on the winner's side. We'll play the winner of Ragnoth and J-Hobbs. And Roro does go down to the loser side. It is double elimination. He waits on the loser of the Ragnoth and J-Hobbs match. So we'll see how those matches line up. And we'll see who Met faces and Roro faces. And yeah, good match overall.
Yeah, and we still have another race later this evening. At 9 p.m. Eastern, you have Double A Dewey versus Adam. So that's going to be another good matchup.
Yes, very
And
exciting.
I believe Sonic and J Hobbs are supposed to be on commentary for that. So that should be a very interesting race to watch, and hopefully some very good commentary by some very high skilled players.
Yeah.
So
Well, take the floor.
yeah. So we want to thank everybody for coming out and watching Met versus Roro. This is Uki, and I'm joined with her Des here.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Catch y'all next time.